Yes, yes, and this is exactly what happened in Overwatch. Are you good enough as an individual and as a player to win? Sometimes supports deserve to get flamed.
With many players believing that our matchmaking system employs EOMM.
Okay, here we go. This is the big things.
Matchmaking.
All right, let's see what's going on here.
Your score is calculated based on two key components, base points and performance points. The formula looks like this.
Huh?
Win and you will gain points, lose and you will lose points.
Yeah.
Second, the difference between your competitive score and the enemy team's average competitive score affects how many points you gain or lose.
Yep, it was the same in
If a player's
Overwatch.
competitive score is lower than that of the enemy team, the system recognizes that the
Same in
player
Overwatch.
is challenging
Yeah, I feel like I already knew all
25 base
this.
points.
And then this is like per hero or what
This
role or
reflects
your
your
actual
individual
stats.
performance.
Chat, this is confusing, y'all? It's not that confusing. If you play a harder guy, you're going to get more points if you win. You'll lose less if you lose. It's going to try to find other players with the same number of 1,000 to match us up with. And this is exactly how it worked in Overwatch as well.
For each hero used in the match, we normalize match stats
Good.
to a per 10-minute value and convert that into a single performance value.
Good.
We compare that to the average performance value for that same hero at your rank, also
Ha!
for 10 minutes.
That's cool.
That
That's
gives
sick as
a specific performance coefficient. The better you perform versus the average, the higher your coefficient.
That's sick as
Let's break down the performance points calculation. The system converts their in-game stats to 10-minute averages and then convert them into performance value. The system finds the average performance value for Diamond 1 players with those heroes. We then calculate the performance coefficients. Loki's coefficient is 1.2, while Invisible Woman's is 1.
This also explains why when high-ranked players end up in lower lobbies, like in gold, right, and they play their characters and absolutely pop off and get 35 finals, they get like plus 35 SR. We're heavily outperforming the average, which we knew.
The overall coefficient works out to be 1.08. Finally, this player's coefficient is compared to the other 5 teammates. Let's say that they are 1, 1, 0.8, 0.8, and 1.15, resulting in an average of 0.97. This gives us the final adjusted performance coefficient of 1.11.
This guy's talking about coefficients. I just want to know why there's a Thor running it down in my team every game. That is just how matchmaking works. What matters for you as a person is when you get those people who run it down, are you good enough as an individual and as a player to win? That's why you won't see like top 10 players complaining about their teammates.
This is the core challenge, balancing matchmaking quality and speed. After careful review, starting in Season 3.5, we've temporarily restricted teams of 4 or 6 players from matchmaking at higher ranks, where their balanced matches are harder to find.
Okay, but what is they considering higher ranks? Where can we not 4-stack? Is that all, plat?
Recently, we have received a lot of feedback from the community, with many players believing that our matchmaking system employs EOMM.
Okay, here we go. This is the
Engagement
big
optimized
things.
Matchmaking. This would imply manipulating the matchmaking queue to keep players' win rates around 50%, ensuring they remain engaged in the game. We want to be clear. Marvel Rivals does not use EOMM.
He said you
Why do
guys
certain
are
win alone? So, why don't we add row queue? We believe that allowing players the freedom to play as their favorite superheroes and team up with others to create diverse creative team combos encourages more varied strategies and gameplay.
Yes.
Second, adding role-based matchmaking would significantly increase queue times, while still failing to fully eliminate
Yes,
skill
tell
discrepancies between matches.
them. Tell
Where there
them.
are
Scroll
There will
queue.
be roles with fewer players would have lower competitive score thresholds, while roles with more players
Yes,
would lead
yes, and this is exactly what happened in Overwatch. The tank players were so much worse than the other two roles because there was way less tank players. So you'd be in a GM1 game, you'd have a tank player that literally only got to be that rank because of role queue. And before that, they were like hard stuck diamond. It was a little bit same with support players. And then DPS by far was the hardest role and most competitive because there were so many people who wanted to play DPS. So DPS players that were like top 500 were really, really good. But also DPS players that were like in GM were probably still pretty good. I love a system that promotes flexing.
For example, if two sides are truly 50-50, over 3 games, the chance of 3 consecutive wins or losses is 12.5%. Over 10 games, the chance of 3 or more wins or losses in a row rises to 50%. So, over enough games, everyone will eventually experience win or loss streaks. For those interested, you can use tools to calculate the probability of achieving a streak under different win rate scenarios over 10 matches.
I think he's saying every game is 50-50. Sometimes you're going to have a bunch of loss streaks in a row. I think that's what he said, TLDR.
Several in-game factors can increase the likelihood and impact of streaks, making these experiences feel more pronounced. Marvel Rivals' large player base means many will experience that.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. He's basically saying we try to make it 50-50. Just math-based, you're gonna have win or loss streaks. It's just gonna happen. And then when we actually calculate skill, that's where the difference happens. But also sometimes you're gonna queue into the same people. And if you're queuing against like a stack that's really good, you might have multiple losses in a row. All that matters is that engagement-oriented matchmaking does not make sense. And it does not exist. Cool. So yeah, that actually just kind of summarizes what I think all the pros thought was going on. You are always going to have games where you are skewed to lose, right? Matchmaker is not perfect, right? But what makes good players is being able to win games in those situations. Sometimes those situations are when you have a Thor one trick running it down, dying every single fight. Good players are able to win those games. Not all the time, but sometimes. That is why you can take a good player and put them into gold and they will climb out and end up in their current rank. Okay? Just do your best, call what you can, try not to get angry and tilt. If you do lose a game and you get angry, queuing again is going to make you more likely to lose your next game too. The better players know to look inward and blame themselves and fix the mistakes that they're making rather than blame their teammates. I am the best player, I make no mistakes, and every game I lose is because my teammates are incompetent. I am flawless, so it can never be my fault. Me when I'm gold. Sometimes supports deserve to get flamed. I can't lie. I hope you guys learned a little bit today. I looked at my hand last night after a game and asked it why it doesn't want to aim. So funny. Just looking at your hand. What's wrong with you?